We will be
All
on
right.
the rate thing. Okay.
As a preliminary matter, this is Evelyn Piness, chairperson of the board of the Needham Contributory Retirement System. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Ms. Sincata,
Yes.
Was wet down south.
you're frozen.
Yes.
Mr. Merles,
Yes.
okay. Mr. Merles, Mr.
Yeah.
Papetti,
Yes.
Mr. Krowecki,
Yes.
okay. Good morning. The opening meeting of the Needham Retirement Board is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth, the outbreak of COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings. And as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. The public is encouraged to follow along using the public agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law, will not feature public comment. For this meeting, the Needham Retirement Board is convening by Zoom app as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and that take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. We're now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, please permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. Each vote will be taken by roll call. Okay. Having called the meeting to order, the November board meeting minutes, I would ask that they be tabled until next month's meeting because we have to make some further corrections to it.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion, Ms. Sincata. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Krowecki. Roll call vote. All in favor, Ms. Sincata,
Yes.
Mr. Merles,
Yes.
Mr. Krowecki,
Yay.
Mr. Papetti.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Okay. Attachment A. Sorry, I have to go through all these papers. Any questions or comments on the attachment A?
Motion to approve. Second.
Yep, hang on a sec. I have a motion to approve. Mr. Merles, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Krowecki, all in favor? Ms. Sincata,
Yes.
Mr. Merles,
Yes.
Mr. Krowecki,
Yay.
Mr. Papetti,
Yes.
chair votes yes. No, unanimous vote. Oh, it's moving. The November payroll warrant is $1,149,892.55. It's just up of about $3,500, which is, Jake, is that a new retiree or is that just getting back
that
to
may-
normal?
Yeah, that may have been a new retiree, although I'd have to look into it definitively. The only thing I see though is it could be the timing of it, but I don't have on my Schedule A retiree, listed. But so sometimes I have my Schedule A, I do a retirement afterwards because payroll is done at the end of the month.
So in November, it showed a decrease of 2.
Yep, because we had 2, yep.
Well, on page 10, there was no retirements and no deaths. So where did the 2 go?
So when, I believe they are 2 deaths that it would have been decreased by, but I just have to do a little bit more research to confirm that.
Okay.
Sometimes it's due to the timing of things. And what happens, I'll give you an example. We may find out weeks after someone actually has passed, but when we go back into PTG, we have to put in the date of death. So that would actually skew 1 month to the next, because it does, I don't know if you follow that, but like today, somebody might die, but I might not find out for a month and a half. So when in a month and a half from now, when I do find out that, then I go into PTG, I put the date of death, and if I ran a fresh report, it would show.
Okay.
Even though,
I only bring it up because I think that's an important number that should be accurate, because we use that in different calculations, I'm sure.
what I'll do, that's a good point. What I'll do at the end of December is I'm gonna run annual summation reports. So you'll have your retirements for the year. You'll have your retirements for, you'll have your deaths for the year. And that's where some of those things will be captured.
Motion to accept.
I have a motion to accept the, excuse me, the payroll warrant by Mr. Merles. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second, Mr. Krowecki. All in favor, Ms. Estrada?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes, yes, you can't
Oh.
hear me? Yes,
Yes, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Mr. Merles?
Yes.
Mr. Krowecki?
Yay.
Mr. Papetti?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Okay, the expense warrant. $97,166. I see we have a few transfers. I am always concerned when we have a large refund. Mr. Mendola received $23,217. Was this a longtime employee? Do you know?
Yeah,
No,
Liz,
well, he wasn't a long-term employee. He was actually only here a couple of months, but the problem was he came from another municipality. So we got his funds, and now he's, I believe he's been laid off. So he's looking, he wanted to take his funds and go.
Okay, so it was a transfer rate. That's my question.
It was-
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a transfer in, now it's a refund because he got laid off.
you know where he worked, Liz?
I can look that up. I think it would have been the state. Let me see.
No, he would have got laid off from us, right?
Yeah, he got laid off from us. He got hired over the summer, and he just recently got laid off, and he's taking his money, but he came from another municipality. That's why it's such a big thing.
That's why I was wondering who he was working for that laid him off.
Liz, look him up real quick.
I have to bring him up in PTG, and it takes a minute.
That's okay. And then I'll say one thing about it. One of the checks and balances that Peric has us done, and I can always forward, or Liz could forward, a refund template application to the board, is there's an employer's section that the employer has to sign off on. So when we say things like the person was laid off, we do on the form, we have to have the employer basically say the reason, if the employee is in good standing or not. And what Liz and I would do is if there was any questionable thing before we would refund that person, we would go to you guys and give you the situation and say, so-and-so is asking.
Sorry.
I don't know if somebody was trying to speak, but that's what we do.
The only reason is I want to make sure if it's a long-term employee that they were given all of the options that they would be entitled to as far as retirement and you know what I'm saying? Leaving the money in the system. But if this was a transfer in and he was only here a short period of time, yeah, I don't know how many years he brought in with him and how old he is, but it could be an issue where if he comes back to us at a later date and says, oh, well, no one, that's my question. Is that, was this employee counseled as to the benefits they may be entitled to?
Yeah, he
Even as a transfer in.
yeah, he was transfer in, he worked at the DPW as a craft worker. And then he came from, hold on.
And how many years, Liz?
Sorry? How many
I'm
years?
I'm looking him
he-
up too.
How many years did he bring with him?
Yeah, he went, he was from Plymouth County. The first worked for the state, then he worked for Plymouth County, and then he worked for us. So he started in 2012, basically.
2012. Okay, so we had,
Liz, where's, what is it,
what's the man?
MEND?
Medina,
Oh,
MEI.
Medina, okay, that's why I couldn't find him at first.
No,
Okay,
it was-
Raymond,
2012.
yeah,
Raymond
it's going
Medina.
into the status history on PTG. He started the state in 2012.
And Evie, to your point, he has 7.5 years of service, and to your greater point, of course, before we
Thank you.
refund someone, we don't really get into their private business, but we definitely let them know if this man had 11 years service, I would definitely say, hey, Mr. Medina, you know, I don't get into your private business, but I just want to let you know, you do have the service time and your age time. You can receive a monthly allowance. You are able to retire with us. Or of course, I always call it the 3 Rs. Or you can, of course, do the refund that you're asking about, or you could even roll it over into an IRA, tax deferred. But yeah, he has 7.5 years.
Okay, so next month it'll show as a payout or a refund, right?
Yes,
It
Nothing
is
else happened.
on this,
Yeah,
yes, on this, yes,
it's
it will
a
show
refund
up,
this month.
refund on the,
No,
Okay.
I let him know that, you know, technically he can, you know, retire, and he's like, he says, I got laid off, I need my money. I'm like, okay, but I send them out the withdrawal form along with the tax notice as well. I mean, and, you know, we do counsel people, but, you know, I'm sure he felt, you know, not to say anything, but I think he maybe felt blindsided and he needs money. You know, unfortunately.
I have just wanted to clarify for the record that this individual was counseled as to his, whatever benefits he may or may not have be eligible for. That's all. And it's a routine question that I will probably ask every time I see one. Anyway, can I have a motion on the expense warrant, please?
Motion
I
made.
have a motion, Mr. Morales, I have a second.
Second.
Mr. Krowecki, second. All in favor, Ms. Sakata,
I,
Mr. Morales,
Yes.
Mr. Krowecki,
Yay.
Mr. Papetti.
Yes.
The chair votes yes, unanimous vote. Okay, we have three, oh, I lost my agenda, which I always do. Three accidental disability applications. This is not the actual hearing for the accidental disability, either granting or denial. This is just the acceptance of the applications. So I'll take them one at a time. We have a firefighter who had a he had a heart attack on the job. So this was an application under the heart presumption. So I would ask for a motion to accept the application and thereby pass it along to PERAC to set up a medical panel for further review and then come back to the board for an official hearing. Do I have a motion?
Motion to accept the disability application of Brian Campbell, Fire Department.
No, don't say any names, John.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion, Mr. Kowecki. I have a second, Mr. Morals. Yeah, and those in favor, Ms. Sincata,
Yes.
Mr. Morals,
Yes.
Mr. Kowecki,
Yay.
Mr. Papetti,
Yes.
votes yes. Okay. Second is a DPW worker who was clearing sidewalks of snow in a tractor on multiple occasions. Hit embankments of ice and the snowbanks and jarring collision caused him severe neck pain and limited movement. He has filed that was my question too. He has furnished the necessary medical files in order for PERAC to commence with scheduling of his telemedical review panel. This individual is currently receiving workers' compensation and has not been employed since January of 2019. Do you have any questions or concerns about this employee?
Well, I have some general
I may or
questions.
may not be able to answer. I guess my papers. Bob, you're frozen.
Oh, am I?
Oh, now you're good. Okay,
I just have a general question about all three of these.
okay.
And the first one, there was a delay of 17 months. The second one, there was a delay of 23 months. The third one, there was a delay of 29 months. Now, how do they support themselves and their families? Are they all on workers' comp?
I'm assuming that the first individual is on what's referred to as 111F,
Okay,
which is the work comp for fire and police. The other two individuals are receiving workers' compensation, yes.
if all three approved, is it retroactive to the date of the incident? I
It
mean,
is retroactive, help me out here, Jake. It's retroactive to the date of the last that he received regular compensation. So there is a disagreement amongst with the PERAC as far as their guidelines go as to whether workman's comp is considered regular compensation or the amount. When someone receives workman's compensation, it's usually a 75%
okay,
workers' comp benefit. And the other 25% at the employee's option can be taken from their sick bank.
okay, but 75% would be tax-free.
So the question arises, is that money that
75%, that would be tax-free, right?
I didn't hear you. I didn't understand you. I'm sorry.
75%
Of their regular salary,
would be tax-free.
Right. that would be tax-free, I believe. Now you're getting into an area I don't really know.
Okay, well,
I believe it is.
my whole point is, if they're approved and it goes back to the date of the application, or do they have to refund the town the workers' comp number?
No. The
So
workers'
that's probably why
consideration.
they wait so long to apply, is that
to
correct?
apply.
So it's kind of
And
double,
I believe,
it's kind of double.
I believe that, I'm not positive, but I believe, yeah, I believe that the town is in the process of trying to settle with these individuals.
Mhm.
So in that case, they would then come forward and apply for accidental disability.
So the town's pressure on them
That's it.
probably provoked them to file for disability, which is okay.
That's correct. Yeah.
All right.
Which is, I mean, they want to settle. They don't want to go ever with
I don't blame them.
a workman's comp case.
But waiting 2 years is, it's kind of a long time. Anyways, but I
Yeah.
suppose there's no,
In-
I suppose there's
To give the
no,
employee. To give the employee the benefit, maybe they feel they will be able to come back to work
okay,
and want to avoid because a lot of people don't want to retire.
Okay,
And especially the ages of these individuals. So, it could be that they do not have, one has enough years, the other does not, well, just enough, but
so the 111F, is that similar to workers' comp, or is that?
well, it's a little different because of the taxes involved. That's what I mean. I don't know about how the workers' comp. I know on 111F, they don't have to pay any taxes.
Yeah, I'm just getting at the motivation for waiting so long, but, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it is what it is, and I'm not criticizing anybody. It just jumped out at me that was a long period of time, but let's
Yeah,
go on.
but it's up to the employee unless the department wants to file an involuntary.
Mhm.
So to the employee as to when they file.
Is
Um,
Yeah.
is the town allowed to replace these people during this period?
Well, technically, no, but in looking at the paperwork that I have, it seems that and I will talk to the Human Resources Department about it, that they were both terminated.
Okay, I mean,
They
from
don't-
the town standpoint, those jobs should be filled because they're providing a service, and if they can't
That's
do
right.
it, it's really not.
That's right.
But anyways,
That's right.
let's move on. Sorry for the questions.
Before we move on, I just wanted to jump in and, as Evie have alluded to, it's not a timing issue. It could be on our part, but it's not with these three gentlemen. It was a little bit with the other gentleman, Mr. Hurdle.
No name.
Okay, so, well, actually, you are allowed to say names. You're just on executive session rules, that you're just not allowed to speak to medical privacy
Okay.
issues. And that's why their names are right in this packet too.
Okay.
But the other thing is though, it depends. The onus is on the employee. Some of these employees came to us at a certain point in time, even though they had left a while before then. And even before I can move forward after you guys vote to whether or not to accept their applications, they still will not get a PERAC medical review. And PERAC's also doing telemedical reviews during COVID right now. And that's an additional sign off Evie signs off on when they want to do that. But PERAC won't even give them a review date, a medical panel review date, until they supply. There's a lot of back stuff, medical files, injury reports, employer statement. I have a whole checklist.
Yeah, I assume that's going to be a reason to disqualify these medical things because they're not in person. I mean, some lawyer will make that case, I'm sure.
Sure. I did notice too, though, Jake, that their accident report is not signed by a department manager. So we have to go over that, but that's something we can do offline.
Yeah,
So
I just
we are now
wanted to
talking.
Yeah, Evie, because that is actually already signed for, because like I said, there's an addendum to, this is just the application that the board is deciding on today. This is actually not the full entirety of what is needed. There's an employer statement, it's 11 pages long, and it is signed off on. And one of those items in the employer statement is the injury report itself.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so on the JM, do I have a motion to accept his application
So moved.
for accidental disability and move it on to PERAC for a medical panel?
Mhm.
I have a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Morrow. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second, Mr. Papetti. Put it to a vote. Ms. Zincata,
Yes.
Mr. Morose,
Yes.
Mr. Kowecki,
Yay.
Mr. Papetti.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Okay, last but not least, we have a 51-year-old male who was in an accident, a very serious accident. He was hit by a vehicle, suffered a broken foot, head injury, right eye injury, shoulder injury, thereby was was quite a serious motor vehicle accident. So any questions or concerns?
Well, if it was a private automobile, I assume that there's an insurance settlement, and does that impact what we would give them? You understand?
There,
I think, if I may, this
Sure.
was, they were on the job, they were on the road working, and a car came by and hit them.
Yeah.
And I think that my opinion is that if they're able to, provide a personal sue against the
Yeah.
driver, that's, in
That's-
my mind, it's not going to affect my thought on this situation at all.
No, I wouldn't either. I just asked the question whether any other settlements that impact our decision. Motion to accept.
there was an insurance settlement. So I have a motion to accept. Do I have a second?
Second,
Second,
I have a second. All in favor, Ms. Sincata,
yes,
Mr. Mearls,
Yes.
Mr. Kolecki,
yay.
Mr. Papetti?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Okay. Oh, go again.
Just a point on the disability pensions, if I could, I believe if the individual was hired before January 1987,
Uh-huh.
it's 72% plus an annuity. But after January 1987, it's a maximum 75%. It changes there in that year.
Tax-free.
Well, yes, but the annuity's not.
Okay. So 75% and somebody in a 25% tax bracket, they're almost completely whole in terms of actual payout, right?
Correct, yeah. It's also calculated on only the last 52 weeks, not the last 156 weeks, 3 years.
Oh.
Are you talking workers' comp, John?
Pardon me?
Are you talking workers' comp or,
No, I'm talking about our retirement system.
oh, accidental? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I lost my agenda again. Here it is. Okay. Now, the financials, the financial operating statement, Mr. Mearls, any comments?
Yeah, I know we tabled the minutes, but my thoughts last month really didn't project what I was thinking, so I'm not sure what I said, but it said something about the election and the COVID is worse, but the market went up. But for the month, the market in October did not go up as because you look at the numbers, we lost $2 million in October. November's a different story. Most of the indices are at or near all-time highs. So for the month of November, I would think we were going to do very well.
So are you saying that in the minutes that we tabled,
Yeah.
that is incorrect?
Well, yeah, I mean, it said something to the effect that I made a statement about the election and COVID, but the market still went up. I mean, that was I'm sure that wasn't the extent of it, but that's fine. But in October, we lost some money in October.
Frozen again, Bob.
Huh? And November, we'll gain a lot of that back, I think. But who knows what's going to happen going forward. I think that, if this vaccine works, the things that are pushing the market are the stocks that are COVID related. What happens when we don't need Zoom anymore? What happens? I just think the market's going to shift in the next 2 quarters as to what stocks are going to continue to grow and which aren't. But we just have to wait and see that. But I always take a long view when I'm looking at my own situation, but I take a short view when I'm looking at our retirement situation. It's a month-to-month kind of a thing, but, you know, we're still at 185 million. We started the year at 181 million, given all that's happened during the year. Not bad, not bad.
No, I'm very surprised that it's what's
Yeah.
happening. I'm watching every day, up and down and up and down.
Yeah, it's up
And you don't
again.
know what's controlling.
Yeah,
Amazing.
it's up again this morning. I will say, in my remarks last about the fees, and they gave us the same old bull. This is how we do our fees. My request last month was to take the 181,000 that they charged us in September, I think, and itemize that.
So I could get.
Sorry, everybody.
That's okay.
There he is, the man, Ralph.
Hey, Ralph, how are you?
Way, so I'm gonna get out of the way now. How you doing?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. So what I was saying last month is I'd like to take the $181,000 that we were charged and have it itemized. I'd like to know who or what companies or where it went. I thought that was reasonable. Maybe people didn't understand what I was saying, but the following month it was 23,000. I suppose if I did a lot of calculations, I could come to a 50 to 65 basis point charge for that 23,000, which is fine. But I'm real anxious to know where the 181,000 went. I'd like to have that broken down, itemized. If somebody sent you a big bill at home, you'd like to know what it's for. So that's all.
If I quickly jump in.
So Jay, could you please reach out and see if you can get a breakdown, which is a little more comprehensive than, what we've gotten in the past, and we always have a trouble getting it. So, but if you could reach out to either Paul Tedesco or
That's my thought. Now, if the board doesn't want to do that, I don't care. But I just think we need to know where the money's going, and I seem to be the only one that cares about that or is interested in that. But
Evie.
Go ahead.
So Evie, yes, I'll do that again. I'll push back on them, but I want you to know, and I can send the board the email I sent to Francesco, who works hand in hand with Paul. He's sort of like Paul's apprentice, if you will, but still senior. So I'll push back on him. But when I did send the email asking for a breakdown per Bob per last meeting, or actually it was even before that, that's why it was in the last meeting. Francesco called me afterwards. He said, I already sent you guys a letter last year about this. And I said, well, can you please send it to me again? And I agree. I grant you, it did not really satisfy the question. So I'll push back on him and try to get it.
They come and sit down with us, and they kind of blow a little smoke when we ask them about this. It's kind of like, oh, well, we charge you 54 basis points or 64 basis points, but if I took 181,000 for the month, it certainly would be more than 64 basis points. And I just like to know where that money goes.
Yeah, and we have every right to know that too.
Okay.
all right.
Motion
Very
to
good.
accept.
So do I have a motion to accept the operating statement?
Yep.
Mr. Rawls, do I have a second?
Second,
Go to the vote. Mrs. Sincata,
Yes.
Mr. Rawls,
Yes.
Mr. Krowecki,
yay.
Mr. Papetti,
Yes.
chair votes yes. Going forward, and I had neglected to do it, I said I was going to, I will be reverting back to the way I used to do things with motions, is to have the recording secretary, which would be Liz, read back the motion once it's made, and then to make sure that everybody is on the same page and all the motions are clear and concise. But I'm sorry, I neglected to do that with this meeting. I will start doing that the next meeting though.
Okay.
Just a little information. Okay. The budget. Let me find it. Here it is. Okay. Well, it looks like at this point we are. Why are we so under budget with the payroll, Jake?
Let me look. Hold on one second. All right, let's go into budget time. Past the bank statements. Okay. Alrighty. So, well, first of all, under budget is usually a good thing. So, but let me take a look at what we're
Well,
talking.
no, it's a good thing. It's just I'm curious.
All right,
This
let's see. So what line item are we talking about? Staff salaries?
Staff
Yeah,
salary. We're looking at $180,000.
under budget. Are we,
Under budget, but remember, this is only 3/4 way full.
Yeah.
But that's good. But we're usually averaging roughly 20,000, 22,000 a month. I have, so.
When
Yeah,
is
I
it?
mean,
When is this budget? What's am I missing?
well, I think I get confused with fiscal year and calendar year. And this is fiscal year, so we're really only in July,
Oh,
August.
This
September.
fiscal year. Okay, all
So
right, so
We got almost a half a year left to go.
6
But
months is,
but we should be
yeah.
at, we should be closer to 50% rather than 28%, wouldn't we?
right,
Yeah,
right. Yeah. So we budgeted too much for staff salaries apparently, or, there's a problem. Oh, this is as of October.
yeah, I can,
Still,
like I said, I have all the backup. I can send you every invoice from accounting. This is correct.
don't
And,
Counting, I just want you to review it. I want you to just kind of go back and double check. I don't want you to send me everything, please.
Okay.
Or unless one of the board members wants it. But I just would like you to just kind of review what we have here. That's all. Just
okay.
to make sure
I mean,
that it's right. Everything else seems to be pretty much in line.
Yep.
And yes, you're right. We're under budget, so that's a good thing.
Mhm.
and we still have another whole quarter. We still have, another whole half a year. So I actually don't think we'll be under budget. I think we'll probably be right around it. So I think I'll definitely do what you asked, Evie.
Mhm.
I like to provide backup because rather than just, because like right here, basically in essence, I like to give backup to it to show that my word is actually validated.
I trust you, Jake. I really don't think I personally need any more paper.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
you just kind of, let me
I
say
just
that
want
you,
to point out, if you take the budget, you need, extrapolate it out across a year. Through October, we should be around 33% and we're at 28%. So we probably just budgeted a little high per month. That's all.
Yeah.
right, that's all. That's all.
Okay.
And,
we need
and
a
with
motion?
with salaries,
But-
at least my approach, and again, this was approved by the board. I always, whereas I may be more stringent in other areas, I knew travel would be down, so we budgeted accordingly to that because of COVID. And education is a correlation to that. But I always pad a little bit more in staff salaries because you never know. We may have to bring in somebody. I don't ever expect that, but in the course of everyday business, you may want to build a little bit of cushion for overtime. If we have a lot of analysis work with audits and so forth, if I need Marty a little bit extra, in a given week. So that's why I always build a little cushion into the budget.
That's
Okay.
fine.
All right.
Do we need a
Okay.
motion?
On the vote, no, well, no,
I don't think we do, but
really just review. We don't really need a motion on that. I don't think. Okay, any old business that we need to attend to?
If I was looking at the audit report, the draft there that you
Oh,
gave
yes,
us,
thank you, John.
and on page 13, about 7 lines down from the top, shouldn't that say predicted salary increases, it says salary decreases. Nobody's salary ever goes down.
17?
Under
13, page
actuarial,
13.
the heading is actuarial assumptions.
Yes.
Yep. I would hope that it's wrong, John.
Just popped out at me.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're looking at. Page 18?
13.
13.
13.
1-3.
I'm sorry, what page?
13.
1-3. 13.
15.
13.
13.
13. God.
Like this.
Oh, this is the actuarial. Yeah. When they do the actuarial study, I don't know what you're looking at here.
But the sixth line from the top.
The salary increase assumption? Is that what you're looking at?
It says projected salary decreases. It should say increases, I think.
I don't see that. Salary increase assumption was updated from a scale that varies by length of service. Is that what you're looking at?
No.
That's it.
No,
The top of the page, Abby, right? On the page 13, it says actuarial assumptions.
Correct.
So if you look, there's a list. It says valuation date.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Projected salary decrease is 3.75. Well, this is part of the actuarial study, so where that came from. It may be, there was a chart that was provided by Siegel that reflected how they did the projected salary increases and decreases. And it was, I guess, formula driven. I mean, you have to look at the actual actuarial. Unfortunately, I don't have it with me
Mhm.
to see why they have that as a projected salary decrease. I think it's just because of our assumptions that we used in the previous studies. But we can get back to you on that, John.
Okay.
all right.
Jake or Liz, would you make a note that we have to get back on that, please?
Yep.
I noticed there's no management letter here. Is there going to be one or?
Yeah,
That
you
one?
should have received it under separate email.
And that's because
I'll have to look. I don't-
There was only one main comment. I did meet with Marty and Jake yesterday, and we did go through the letter itself,
Uh-huh,
which is normally boilerplate. It's
uh-huh.
normally a letter that's just written in, but this letter is different and it refers to deficiencies in internal controls.
Okay,
And it's a bit contradictory because it says our consideration of internal control was for the limited purpose described in the first paragraph and was not designate to identify all deficiencies in internal control. That would be material weakness. Given these limitations during our audit, we did not identify any deficiencies in internal control that we consider to be material weaknesses. However, material weaknesses may exist that have not been identified. So
Wow.
that pointed out to me by Jake and Marty. So
I like that.
there is going to be a response that we're going to put together. Asking a question basically is, what are you talking about? I mean, could you please explain yourselves to us in that part? But then the only management comment was,
Abby, where is what you were saying? Where is that written?
it's in the management letter.
I know, where
Which is
about
gonna-
it's on page 2 and page 3, the top of page 2 and then page 3 is the formal comment.
Yeah, because we can't compare this to the Parrot audit because it was different times. But I'm surprised that Melanson didn't pick up on those retirees who were either overpaid or underpaid.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree.
Yeah.
I thought we talked about that too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
How is that investigation going with the overpays and underpays? And I only ask because I'm
About,
worried about what the financial impact is going to be.
Yeah,
If
we
we
don't
don't-
have a definitive answer yet. Marty and I just finished up going
Um,
through some.
If
Yeah,
they,
so-
yeah, if they were overpaid, we're not, certainly not gonna ask for the money back, I don't think. And if we underpaid, we're going to have to make that up. I just don't know how many dollars are here
Yeah,
and what the overall impact is. That's what
I believe, we have Marty working on that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Doing
we'll have something next meeting about that.
Okay,
Good. Because we have to, whether we use we refer to it as the Hinden Law, some people call it the Needham Bill.
Yeah.
We had legislation passed
Yeah.
regarding situations like that, so to look into that first.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have any other old business?
no,
I'd just like to make a
Any new
correction when I was talking about the disability retirement. The date is January 1st, 1988, not 1987. So
okay,
anybody hired in 1987 is under the old 72 plus the annuity.
okay.
Was that Pension Reform Act, John?
Yeah,
Is that
that
when-
was 88, January 88, not
88.
87. So
Okay,
I know one of them,
Okay.
was hired in 87. So
okay.
All right.
John, did you set up with your Verizon and all that? Did you get that done?
no, I was going to ask about that also. Was Sandy able to get anything through town IT? From what I understand, it would cost me $80 a month. I'd have to open a new account. It makes no difference that I have Verizon at home. You have to have Verizon Mobile, which I don't. I have AT&T.
So with using the webinar instead of the Zoom, does that change your situation?
No.
No, I need the signal when I'm not at
Oh, okay,
home and need them,
okay.
If I'm in Florida or Wareham, I need signal.
I didn't know that I was the one that was going to follow up. I thought Jake was, but I'll be happy to talk to do that. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't really recall who was supposed to do that. Maybe I was supposed to do it, Sandy. I don't really remember.
So you want to get a MiFi, right? Yeah, get a MiFi.
Sandy was supposed to check with IT.
Okay.
All right,
My bad, John. Let me do that today. I'll send him an email.
Mhm.
Yeah, Sandy, if you find anything out, let me know by email, okay?
Okay.
Well, just to reiterate, the device would be between $80 and $190. It's two different ones.
Is that
And I have to open an account that would be $80 a month. Unless I got a smartphone with Verizon, which I just have a flip phone. I'm paying $20 a month for unlimited talk and text, so I don't want to lose that.
Yeah, I'll see if we can just get one that is for the contributory retirement.
yeah, and if if there are costs involved with IT, Sandy, the cost would come to retirement. It would,
Well, what happens is when Roger gets the bill from, I have the wrong glasses on. When Roger gets the bill from Verizon, he breaks it out according to department. And
Mhm.
he puts in a PO, essentially charges each PO, but what he could do is simply let us know the amount and we could do a transfer. Is that how you
Right.
usually do that to town?
We'd have to pay it. We'd have to
Right.
physically pay, but
So we would just,
Right.
but I know that it's significantly less. It's like, it's gotta be, at the most would be $50 a month for everything.
Okay.
Mhm.
well, I think what we approved at the last meeting was up to 50, I think it was up to $50 a month.
Mhm.
Correct.
It's,
So, I mean, we can
Was in
amend
the-
that. if we
it
need
was
to.
in the minutes we didn't go over, I guess.
Yeah, it was $200 initially and then up to $50 a month.
Right. So we'll, yeah, I mean, if Sandy gets back to us, then we'll go from there. We would have to pay the town by check like we do with the salaries.
Excuse me.
So-
Yeah, I will email Roger. And again, I'm sorry that I dropped the ball and I'll get right on it.
That's okay. Nope. Any new business?
I do. I have a question.
Sure.
More of a question. I did absolutely nothing in terms of continuing education this year. I don't know. Did anyone else?
I haven't either.
Aren't we supposed to have done CEUs for the year or something? Are you know how we're supposed to maintain a number of credits?
Right.
Yeah.
So just so you know, I mean, there was a webinar earlier in the year and they did get 3 credits. Just, you know, and I think I either let Jake know to let you guys know that, you know, this is available. So I know I took it. I'm not sure anybody else did, but I think maybe John had taken it too, just so you know. They are available. You just have to go on Peric and check.
Yeah, no. We get the list. I just haven't done anything. I was wondering how anybody else has been faring.
Yeah, there was one last week. I took it.
Okay.
I get an email from Natasha Dunkner.
Yeah, I do too.
Register through that. However, I'm only able to do that on my home computer. It won't work on the Kindle, even if I have a signal. But I did one, Macros put on one that was a regular Zoom, and when Liz took that, I remember seeing her on it. So, and I took this one last week, so I think I'm all set if they credit up to date.
Yeah, I'm so not. So
Well, maybe we'll all be out of work next year.
Yeah, it's putting
we have-
Macros
we
out
have,
of business.
We have
Macros
two
is gonna
things.
be out of business.
I missed that one on the 10th. And I went on a few days later. They told me I was all set until next year in May or something for my credits.
Excellent.
That's what she said. You're all set. You just
Good
have to-
news.
Oh, I knew we should have voted him out.
I got credits. I don't know how I got them.
Right. We have
One of
an
those.
update from Michael Sacco on the lawsuit that we pursued with the math teachers' retirement. I'm sure has everyone seen that and read the letter?
Yeah.
We don't have to
He's
reiterate
hoping
anything.
to go back to Superior Court.
Yeah, so
Yeah. That's gonna be a long drawn out affair.
it certainly is.
I just hope it's not costing us a lot of money, but it might be worth it.
So I don't think so. We're
No.
looking, really seen
Yeah, it's
anything.
split 5 ways or 4 ways or something.
yeah, I think he's dividing up his costs. So far it doesn't seem to be a lot, but I guess we should cumulatively watch that.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
And the
Yeah.
election that was to be held on December 18th, we only have one nominee who filed papers. That's Mr. John Krowecki. So although it's not the 18th yet, is it? I would ask the board to just accept Mr., I don't know what the phrasing is, but Mr. Krowecki as the new old retirement board member, that he will be reelected to his position on the retirement board. And I welcome you, John, and thank you for your participation and continued service. And, you know, it's a pleasure to retain someone who has the knowledge and experience that you do. So
So do we need to vote? Do we have to vote on that?
I believe
Pretty
you
sure
do.
you do.
yes, we need to vote.
And
So I would ask for a motion to vote to declare Mr. Krowecki elected to the Needham Retirement Board. And
So
his term
Motion.
will expire December 18th, 2023.
so moved.
Now I have a motion. Now, Liz, do you have this motion? Could you read it back to me, please?
I don't have the motion, sorry. I don't have the motion. I'm.
All right,
Yeah.
going forward, I'm going to ask you to have the motion for me at when we
I
do,
know, and I don't type that fast, so you're gonna have to be patient with me.
you're going to have to, yes. Okay, I have a motion? Who made the motion? Mr. Morales?
Yes.
And I have a second. I have a second. I have that. Ms. Sincata, all those in favor, Ms. Sincata, I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
Yes.
Mr. Morales,
Yes.
Thumbs up.
Mr. Krowecki,
Yay.
And you can't vote on yourself. Mr. Papetti,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. Okay, that was a very good meeting. Does anyone have anything else?
Did anybody notice that Mr. Trotsky's salary for the year was 680,000?
Yes.
I'll, thank
And
you.
I only bring that up, I'm not criticizing it, but I was wondering if one of our retirees comes up to me in the supermarket who makes 22,000 a year after spending 20 years, kind of hard to, why do they put those darn things in the paper?
Not to worry, another trillion is coming.
Yep.
Oh, here we go.
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn, Mr.
Second.
Morrow.
Second.
A second, Ms. Sincata.
Yeah. Yes.
those
Second, I vote yes.
Ms. Sincata, Mr. Morrow,
Yes.
Mr. Krowecki,
Yay. Thank you
Mr.
very much. Pleasure working with everybody.
yes. Mr. Papetti, did you vote?
I did. Yay.
And the chair
I
votes
voted.
yes, and everybody, please stay safe.
Merry
Not too
Christmas.
much shoveling.
Okay, so the next meeting's on January 13th, 2021, that's 2020 in your packet at 9:30 a.m. And I'm just to toot my own horn. I'm singing this weekend, actually, I'm singing virtually this weekend with the Quincy Point Congregational Church. If you go on YouTube at 10 o'clock Sunday morning, you'll be able to hear me sing. Just because I do that as a side job, and I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And
Yeah, Bob Papetti has a Zoom meeting with PERAC for an extra 3 points on Christmas Day, so.
It's easy to get those points. You didn't tell me how easy it was.
Okay, see ya. Merry Christmas.
Have a good holiday.
Stay
Thank
safe.
you.
You
Thank you.
too.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Liz, are
too.
you recording this?
I was
Yes.
recording it. I was recording it, so. I
All
will-
right,
I'm recording it as well.
all right, good, because Liz, David's that folder I set up, and because I send it to Roger, so I need to be able to get a version of it.